All right, everyone. Welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Tuesday, July 24th, 2018. All right, so today a lot going on astrologically. We do have the moon finishing a fucus, first of all. So if you did feel yesterday and maybe the day before that, a bit of the deeper dimensions of life, maybe our own vulnerabilities and wounds coming to the forefront, a lot of that is going to be transformed going into the later part of today and into tomorrow. So good day for finishing that up and then noticing how we can expand our horizons, especially tomorrow with the moon in Sagittarius. So with that, Venus is going to be opposite up to Neptune. So a bit of maybe idealistic energy in our relationships or interactions, maybe things not being clear, or a bit of wanting to kind of escape or dream or that kind of thing. So good to be really grounded with our relationships, be as clear as we can, and really be grounded in the present moment with this Neptunian energy. And as we get into tomorrow, the sun is going to be squaring up to Uranus. So as the day unfolds, maybe a bit of this erratic energy of wanting to break free, have some freedom in our life. So listening to that, and integrating that freedom in constructive ways. All right, so let's look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this Tuesday. Again, we are using the actual stars in the sky called true Sidereal Astrology. If you do notice that some of the signs are different from mainstream astrology, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. All right, so the moon finishing deep a fucus. This is the constellation that has to do with healing, specifically our wounds and vulnerabilities. The moon will still be here for at least the first half of the day. And so finishing that up though, right here is the Galactic Center, right at the end of a fucus. And usually as planets pass through this, it's very transformative. And a good analogy of this is kind of like the caterpillar coming out of the cocoon into the butterfly, right? A fucus is definitely the metamorphosis. And then Sagittarius going into tomorrow, a bit of that open-mindedness, right? A bit of that freedom for life, spirit for life, seeing the top-down perspective, and maybe accessing a bit of that fire and adventurousness. So we'll probably feel that mostly tomorrow, but there is that sort of transformative energy with the day today. All right, so that's going to lead us to a lunar eclipse, which will be on Friday. So this will be likely as we approach Friday, a little bit more, first of all, energy as we approach the heightened part of the lunar cycle, and a little bit more awareness, right? Some insights and things like that, especially Friday. This will be about our life path, the directions we're taking, and specifically with the South Node, what we may want to release or clear within, and as a result without, externally as well, things to allow for this sort of adjustment to our life journey. So I'll of course make a video on that, but as we approach Friday, just kind of observing that this is a week of clearing and a transition as we get into next week. All right, so that's the sort of backdrop in terms of the aspects today. We do have Venus opposite up to Neptune. So a bit of this sometimes extreme energy with Neptune, which can be maybe wanting to idealize. Maybe it involves relationships or resources, finances, or the enjoyments of life. All right, so really good to be grounded in the present moment, essentially, with oppositions to Neptune. Right, that's really what Neptune helps us do, is be present and accept what is, and through that sort of see the ebb and flows of life, and maybe how our minds do want to wander, or escape and that kind of thing, and then kind of bring it back to the present moment. And then also to, listen to our intuition, and maybe in those relationships, bringing in a bit of that compassion, understanding, healthy receptivity, right? These types of things, really good. And also with the enjoyments too, right? So finding some healthy ways of relaxing, enjoying the simple life, maybe meditation, spiritual activities, really good way of balancing this sort of Neptunian, hazy, idealistic kind of energy here today. All right, so along with this, as we get into tomorrow, the sun is going to be squaring up to Uranus. So we'll feel this mostly tomorrow, but as the day unfolds, if you do feel a bit of maybe erratic energy or impulsive energy, wanting to break free, break through in some way, it's good to be aware of that, because Uranus does represent our higher self that does want freedom and does want change. But in the square, it's good to do that with intention, right? To set the intention, to do that consciously, right? And to maybe take some of those steps that are, grounded and constructive to implement more freedom in healthy ways. So that'll be going into tomorrow. What's supporting it, however, is that the sun is going to be trining up to Chiron, which really coincides with this sort of transformative energy. Chiron does represent, just like that, a fucus energy of healing. So we could feel a bit of that, again, rejuvenation or refreshment after the deeper dimensions as we get into tomorrow, and then feeling a bit healed in that sense. All right, so that's the day in a nutshell. I think most importantly will be the Venus opposite Neptune, grounding the idealizations, if there are any, right? It's just a collective energy where sometimes there can be a bit of imbalance, so we're wanting to integrate the two. And so finding healthy ways of doing that. How can we integrate healthy receptivity and presence and compassion and all that, maybe in our relationships, maybe with our values and enjoyments, and just be as clear as we can in that present moment with that. And then, of course, the transformation with the moon over the Galactic Center, suggesting finalizing some healing of some wounds, which will be going into tomorrow of a bit more of that freedom, inspiration, and spirit for life. All right, so have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast.